Friends, the CBSE, ISC, ICSE results have come out and they had been stressed. Parents and students alike who had been waiting for this number, because this is one number which defines your identity in our country. After class 12, it also defines the school to college transition that you are happening. So would you enter a St. Stephen's, a St. Xavier's, an SRCC if you are from commerce or not, which becomes this kind of a flaunting thing. So yes, friends, the results have been out, and again it creates another divide in the world. The people who have scored 90% and above, or the ones who have not scored 90% and above. Now in our society, we have all sorts of methods by which we create classes. So you have the rich and the poor, you have people who can speak English fluently, the ones who cannot speak English fluently, and then the ones who scored 90% in class 10 and 90% in class 12, and the ones who haven't. Now, the irony of the situation is that nowadays it is so commonplace to have 90% and above. 2.25 lakh students, yes, you heard it right, 2,25,000 students in CBSE Class 10 have scored more than 90%. 13 students have scored 99.9%. In ICSE Class 10, 2 students have scored 99.6%. These students will spend their entire lifetime in regret that where did that lose that 1 marks. They might as well opt for rechecking. Same for class 12, 2 students have got 99.9%. And in ISC class 12, 2 students have actually got 100%. Oh my god, they are such perfectionist people that they have actually scored 100%. With all due respect to their sincerity, hard work, etc., I'll raise certain pertinent questions at an appropriate juncture in this video. 94,209 students have actually scored more than 90% in CBSE Class 12. I do not have that data for ICSE and ISC, but then this is a humongous number. People who have scored more than 90%. They will be out there with their swollen pride. Their parents are going to distribute sweets, and they're going to be Pizza Hut parties and SMSs and Facebook status updates. But then what next? There is an illogical menace also that is dimension. It might be a conspiracy theory, but the Quint carried a news article on the 8th of May that said that 29,421 students, they randomly analyzed their marks, and 13.6% students scored exactly 95 in maths. How can that be a coincidence? 95 as a number is more common than the entire 0 to 100 range. Same for accounts. They tested around 17,000 students, and 6.6% students again scored exactly 95 in accounts. Now that means the board is doing moderation. 85 to 95 will get 95. It might be unfair for the guy who's got 95 because he's now put it back to back against the one who would have actually scored an 85. But then again, this is a conspiracy theory. The Ministry of Human Resource Development 2 years ago clearly said that there should be no moderation. But then, the boards are also pitted against each other to dole out marks and appear that yes, they have been really successful in this entire objective of education at India. But then, if you scored more than 90%, and I'll tell you with nostalgia, my mother was the first student in her entire school history to have scored a first division. So in the 1970s, 60% meant a lot. For my case, 2003, I wanted to shift from science to commerce. Taking up science was that IIT plus IIM dream which newspapers make you believe. So contrary to what was my natural instinct, I took up science. I wanted just exactly what was required to get into a decent school, decent commerce school or college, as you would say. In Kolkata, I got exactly 87%. No one would have ever come up and congratulated me for that 87% because there were toppers galore, 95%, 94%, 93%. I was like 87%. Fine, this guy also ran the race. I felt very dejected because I had been a topper otherwise all throughout school. Class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 types. You have that bloated ego which suddenly gets crushed. It has its own set of psychological repercussions. But that's for another day. But But what I'm trying to tell you is that, it kind of, this 90% and above and not 90% creates a huge kind of an imbalance. And what does this 90% test? It tests your ability to memorize facts, your ability to be very sincere, hardworking, follow set patterns. So your school teacher says that in an accountancy problem, first calculate goodwill, first calculate profit sharing ratio, then calculate sacrificing ratio, then raise the goodwill, then redistribute it, and then if there is some revaluation, do this. So you kind of follow a subroutine and you become a topper. 100% in accounts. Wow, you are one of the most profound accountants in the world now. I mean, you're going to redefine accounting standards, the way accounting is done in the world. Awesome. Interesting fun fact here is that Lord Macaulay, when they had set up the British Empire, really found that the Indian education system has very vibrant. People used to speak their own languages. They were very proud of their heritage. He said, no, we want to create clerks out of these Indians. So he created this English-based education system, which wanted students to be obedient, which wanted students to be committing to memory and vomiting to paper. So he kind of wanted no originality in the entire education system because Indians made very good clerks. Britishers would not become very good clerks. So they wanted Indians to become very good clerks and serve that British Empire throughout the world. And that education system, accentuated by a liberal marking scheme, has given a lot of people to believe that without applying their minds, by just following stereotype patterns, being sincere, obedient, they can become toppers. And what does that topper mean? It means nothing actually. I mean, with all due respect, the media limelight that is given to these toppers, now you do some sort of a correlation that where do these toppers land 10-15 years down the line. You will find that a lot of mavericks who did not follow these set patterns, who really defied these set rules, goodwill raising in profit sharing ratio and then sacrificing, etc., actually went on to become Elon Musk and Steve Jobs. And the ones who were, horses with blinders on, who were obedient students, actually became mid-office executives, clerks, as Lord Macaulay actually wanted originally. So then the vagaries of professional life, exams, why don't toppers in class 10, 12 actually do so well in CA or in CMA, in ICSE or in MBA, UPSC, etc. I mean, the rules of the game are very different. In IIT JEE Advanced, if you actually score only 12% in a particular paper, you can actually clear. And if you clear 43% marks, if you can actually clear the entire IIT JEE Advanced. And 43% in class 12 means zilch, nothing. So then, do you really think that, an objective of being an obedient clerk, which has been perpetuated down centuries, needs to be continued? Average students will find it difficult to get college admissions. The SRCCs and St. Stephens and St. Xavier's of the world will have ever increasing cutoffs, and the average students are going to miss the bus. But does that mean that are they going to miss the bus when it comes to the entire real life? I am not very sure. And I have empirical evidence. I've seen the world over the last 1.5 decades. I've seen my batchmates doing so well in life, not having that 90%. In fact, I myself did not have 90% in class 12. I had 92% in class 10, but then after that 87%, where I was a kind of a refugee who shifted to commerce, which people around me told, because they really can't understand this concept of natural instincts vis-a-vis something else. So I also did decently well in life. So friends and the ones who actually scored 90%, all the best. I mean, but yes, please remember that with all due respect to your sincerity, hard work, the rules of the games are going to change after class 12. The real world will be difficult. Why difficult? Because it is not as standard as your Monilal Das accountancy book, where there are these 12 kind of complications that can arise in a partnership accounts paper, one of which is going to be tested in the exam. Real life is not like that. So you'll have to redefine yourself, gear yourself, and do well. I mean, both 90% and above and 90% and below are going to do well. Just that, this entire education system has kind of created an anomaly in terms of understanding, which irks me, and that is why, I've been bedridden since the last 3 days. but I thought this weekend was an opportune moment for me to actually stand up, gather strength, and create this 10-minute odd video so that you could like it, share it, comment it, and think about it. No, so that's my objective. Thank you. Please share it with someone, because I really don't know. The kind of limelight which is given on toppers, you can say कि अंगूर खट्टे इसको नहीं मिला तो इसलिए ऐसा बोल रहे हैं. But that's not the objective. The objective is that, are we really testing things which matter in the real world, or are we sowing seeds of disappointment? Both in the ones who scored 90% and above, or in the ones who not scored that 90% and above. Because the rules of the game in the real world are very, very different. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All the best.